The next part, which is the fun part, is going to be I want you to practice using your tablet and your stylus. And the way we're going to do that is by doing a coloring book page in Photoshop. So we'll come back out to digital rendering. We'll go to this coloring page folder, which is empty, and I'll have you come back to Schoology and download in this week. Nothing else is here yet. There will be more. This Micah Bazant, We All Belong Together coloring page.jpg, okay? Oh, look, there's the picture of it, right? You can right click on it and save image as, just like we did before. And you want to put that guy, I'm going to go back to digital rendering, coloring page, put that guy, that JPEG image right into that folder. So now you got Photoshop. Let's open Sesame Photoshop. It's going to try and like teach me things, which is fine. We're going to click over here to open. And then if you come to your desktop or wherever you're keeping your Photoshop file, your digital rendering files, come to this coloring page. Let's open that. So now I'm going to make this into a coloring book for you, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is come over here to your layers tab, okay? And you're going to double click on that, and because right now it's just called background, and we're going to call this coloring page. Okay, great. So now here I have my coloring page. I want to color not on this page, but on a piece of paper underneath it, okay? And that's because I don't want my coloring to accidentally mess up this drawing, right? I want this drawing to stay, and then I want to color under it in order to add to the image without destroying any of the existing content. So to do that, first, I'm going to create a new layer, layer 1. I'm going to put that underneath, drag it so it's underneath my coloring page. And then I'm going to take my coloring page, I'm going to switch its blend mode, okay, so that's this little drop down right here, to multiply, okay, and that will put these black textures and colors on top of whatever I'd color underneath it, and then I'm going to lock it like this, okay? So now if I'm on this page, I can't. It's going to say, no, you can't do it. The layer is locked, which is what I want, because I want to be able to use layer 1, which is technically underneath my coloring book, to play with my paintbrushes and practice drawing using my tablet, okay? So I've got my tablet, turned on my pen, right, by punching in the little end of it, and now I can kind of color things, right? Here are some tricks, okay? 1, the color you're using is this thing right over here. So right now I would be coloring with black, and that's not really gonna work for me. So I can change that color just by tapping over here in this color tab, okay? So maybe I want something different, right? Maybe I want to use this color on her headscarf, okay? So I can kind of color in using this color, okay? So that's one thing, right? Another thing that you can play with, and this is super fun, is you can play with what brush you're using. So I'm using this brush tool, and then I click up here, and now I have a whole bunch of different kinds of brushes that you can play with, right? So if I want dry media brushes, they're in here, right? So that's if I wanted it to look like I'm using pencil or charcoal. Wet media brushes in here. So this is if it wants, I want it to feel like I'm working with paint. So like this wet blender is kind of fun because it sort of smudges around paint that I already have and blends it together, okay? So that can be a fun thing to play with. And then we can come back up in here, be like, I want it to be like oil paint. Awesome. I'm gonna come over here and change into some blue, right? So now I've got some of that red, and then I'm painting some blue in with it, right? And as I paint, it's picking up some of that red, okay? So that is a super fun paint brush to use, okay? And you're noticing, right, because I have this top layer locked, and on multiply, I'm not accidentally wiping out any of my coloring book, right? I'm just working my way through, okay? The other thing that's a lot of fun, if we jump in here, right? So if you wanted like a spatter brush, you can have one, right? So then you can like add some spatter and it looks like art, right? What is this madness, right? You can use different layers if you want, right? So if you want to keep, you know, this girl, if you want to keep her separate from your center girl or your guy on the right, you can put them each on their own layer so that you don't mess up one when you're drawing the other one. So that's also an option. But yeah, this is just for you to play and to practice making it work with your hand, okay? So let's do Photoshop tips, right, about getting around this. So making your brush bigger or smaller, that's using the left and right brackets on your keyboard, okay? That's also when you have your brush tab open, it's also right here, this size slider, okay? But the keyboard shortcut is your open and close tabs, okay? The other thing that you might want to do that I use a lot is zooming in and zooming out. And so that is going to be Control plus to zoom in and Control minus to zoom out. Command plus and minus on a Mac. And when you're zoomed in, right, you still have scroll wheel. If you have a mouse going to, because you're like me and you have a tablet and a mouse, you can use your scroll wheel to move up and down, okay? And then you can also drag on these left and right. Okay. Have fun. Turn in whatever you have after about an hour of coloring or whenever you feel like it's done. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Thanks. Bye.